Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Oh, goodness, I had to think about that. Um, Sammy. Been watching my reviews for a while. You know that I do not like Sammy. I don't. I don't like her. She's annoying. In a lot of ways, I feel like she kind of comes across as a bit of a Karen, to be honest. She barges in Nicole's house, which I'm just like, is this chick serious? And she's all like, "You saw my husband. My husband is my." I'm not gonna lie. Every time she sits there and says "my husband," it's just something about that just irks me. But it got to a point where Nicole was like, "Listen." And granted, Nicole clearly didn't learn her lesson. She really didn't, because she blamed Sammy for her failed marriage, or her marriage blowing up. I'm like, Nicole, you're an idiot. I'm just going to leave it at that. But Nicole pretty much like, listen, at the end of the day, the only person that messed up your marriage is you. And right then and there, as much as Sammy hated hearing it, she knew that Nicole was right about that. So Nicole was like, hey, she says something, and I guess she grabs her arm, and she looks like she's about to start fighting her. And then Allie shows up like, the hell are you doing? What are you doing? What is going on here? Like, seriously? So Nicole leaves. Allie talks to Sammy. Now, first, Sammy is automatically getting defensive. Bottom line was, Allie was like, listen, you need to stop with this whole AJ stuff. You need to stop going after a man who treats you like garbage. You know what Sammy does? She makes excuses. I hurt his pride. He's a DeMaro. And a bunch of other crap that I was just like... I just sat there and like, you're really going to sit there and make excuses for this man who treats you like trash? You're going to fight for a man who treats you like garbage. That in itself just pissed me off. It truly did. And when Allie was sitting there talking about Lucas, and how much Lucas loves her, respects her, likes her, can deal with her, which is amazing in itself. And there was one point where, Sammy was like, oh, you don't like EJ. Sweetheart, regardless if she likes EJ a lot, this isn't about her not liking EJ. This is about her pointing out the fact that he's not good for you. And you are in a mentally abusing relationship. And you have a guy who literally came to your rescue. And the first thing you do is run straight back to a man who treated you like garbage. Even after he slept with somebody else, you're just like, nope, I still want to sit there and be with him. Chick, just, Now, Susan was giving EJ really some good advice and just basically calling him out on his crap. Him being a hypocrite from when he cheated on her, him treating her like garbage and she still stuck by him, and, forgiving her for what she did. For the fact that you treated her like trash, and she didn't do it out of revenge. She didn't do it because, she just wanted to insult you or whatever. She did it out of grief. Well, I wouldn't sit there and say out of grief. That's her words. I wouldn't sit there and say out of grief, but she did it because, she was in a really low place that you put her there. So Susan was like, you need to forgive her. Like, point blank, y'all need to work it out. If you love this woman and you still do, any anything that feels like love, that's still there, you feel you can salvage, do it. Because if not, you're going to regret it. So after that, EJ thinks about it. He even looks at his ring when he's sitting down. And he turns around. He sees Sammy there smiling. And I'm just like... Trust me, there are some really harsh words I want to sit there and use towards her. But, well, I think you kind of get the idea. Now, Sierra's not there talking to Sean, and Sean lets her know, hey, listen, to let you know, Marlena is possessed by the devil. So, yeah, and tells her all about what happened during Thanksgiving with Doug and him snapping the cuffs, you know, because she was there talking about, oh, John was doing something that didn't really make a lot of sense, and, you know, Sean was like, yeah, he has a lot of, like, powers and weird powers and stuff like that, you know. And that's when Sierra was like, oh, and I left Ben with the devil. So she's like, I gotta go back. And John's like, no, because one, you're pregnant and you're my sister, and either one of those is not gonna work for you going back into that. Now, of course, you know, early, and I should mention that, you know, Susan was not there talking to EJ about the devil and warning Sierra and stuff like that, but, you know, at this point, EJ didn't really sit there and believe in that stuff, more or less, and he was just more concerned about her. So I always like those scenes. I mean, let's be honest, any scene with EJ, well, to me, it's just great, but it is nice to sit there and see those moments where he's not just being a dick, and he actually genuinely cares about someone. Now at the cabin, you know, John gets there, and of course he's not there trying to say, oh, she's the so-and-so, but between Ben and Marlena, they won't let him get a word in there. And there's a couple of times where, you know, the devil does what I like to call, like, the Darth Vader force or whatever, and stops him from talking, and, you know, Ben punches him, and they tie him up and everything like that. And at one point, it looks like Marlena, well, possessed Marlena, is trying to kill John. And Ben is like, whoa, hey, we not, no, this isn't part of the plan. See, we tied him up, and we're gonna go. What you're doing right now, no, no, I'm not trying to go back to jail. So, he convinces her to not kill John, and so, you know, he just kind of, you know, she just kind of stands there for a little bit. I say she and he, because, anyway, there's one point where I think Marlena or Ben is about to leave, and Sean comes to the door, and Sean is like, just to let you know, that's not Marlena. That's the devil. So now he turns around and he looks at her, and, well, it just ends right there, more or less, but definitely looking forward to tomorrow's episode. If that's where they're gonna sit there and go, because, you know, sometimes they'll start and then they'll just jump to the whole, you know, Brady and Phillip and all that other stuff. So I'm like, kind of waiting for this part, but, you know, with days sometimes you just don't know. Now Rafe is they're talking to Lucas. They're talking about Phillip, and, you know, Lucas like, I want him arrested, but Rafe was like, we don't have enough, and if we rush too soon, it's going to be harder to prosecute him later on. So you kind of just got to just, you know, trust me on it. So they're talking about that. They talk about Sammy being kidnapped. Talk about EJ having sex with Nicole. And the look on Ray's face, like, this dude was between angry and hurt. And I sat there and I was like, are you angry? Are you hurt? good. I, Rafe has been pissing me off because he comes across as like this good guy, and you know he's all sweet and nice and very chivalrous and everything like that. But yet you're acting like a scumbag. Point blank, you are literally acting like a scumbag. So they talk about that. They talk about Sammy, and Lucas is like, "All right, you good?" And you know, Rafe was like, "No, because you know Nicole's my friend, and you know EJ is human garbage, so I'm not okay." Of course, we know exactly why he wasn't okay, but whatever. So they talk about that for a little bit, and you know, Lucas like, "Oh well, you know, this works out for me because I'm not gonna get Sammy back." And I'm like, I don't know what you see in that woman. I really don't. You know, it's really sad. One second. I remember, and I said this in one of my other reviews. I was like, what do these men see in her? I don't get it. Lucas, Rafe, I don't know. Well, EJ, what do they see in this woman? And then I saw a picture of her in the early 90s, and I was like, damn. I was, I was like, well, I can totally see that. Yep, because saying back then was, damn. But the problem with her is that while I can understand why people were attracted to her, she's still Sammy. You know, like, it's just, the minute that she opens up her mouth and she starts talking, it's like, Anyway, Lucas is excited. Nicole gets there, and Nicole's like, so what y'all talking about? And, you know, Lucas is like, oh, we're just talking about guy stuff. You know, just guy stuff. He leaves, and Nicole's like, y'all weren't talking about that, were y'all? And so she's upset at the fact that, you know, they're talking about her sex life. On top of the fact that she already had a crappy morning by just, you know, well, first, she's wondering if she's going to have a business partner because, you know, he may be hauled off to jail. And then Sammy comes over. And now, you know, she gets to the square and she sees two of her friends talking about her sex life. So, you know, pretty crappy day. You know, again, she brings up her porn days or whatever. So they talk about that, and then Rafe, you know, is like, you know, I want to apologize because, you know, I feel like in some sort of way this is my fault. And Nicole's like, one, that's egotistical, and two, how? And Rafe is like, well, you know, because, you know, us and how things went down and stuff like that. And, you know, one thing led to the next. And the thing is, when I was watching the video, I saw the thumbnail, so I already knew. Like, part of me was like, man, please tell me that somebody just, like, CGI'd that stuff together and they didn't actually kiss in front of the whole damn town square. So what this scumbag does? He decides to pull Nicole's right in for a kiss. Just out in the open. This dude gives no F's. I mean... Yes, I don't hate Rafe, but I don't like what he's doing either. Because what he's doing is disrespectful as hell. And yes, I know that Ava is keeping secret of her own, and so in a morality realm, you know, whatever, like as far as their morality goes, they both don't really have, you know, legs to stand on. But one is just being a criminal and try to take her, well, is being a criminal. And, you know, really kind of hurt Rafe's investigation. Both times, one, when she let Kristen escape, and two, when she helped Kristen escape. So, yeah, and then, so yeah, one, when she didn't tell him, and the second, when she literally helped her escape. So, yeah, that's bad on her. But she's not going around making out with other people, though. You know? I say that because I know somebody in the comment section was saying, like, you know, they're both, you know, not really good as far as morality goes. But I'm like, well, one is cheating, and the other one is just doing bad things to try to keep this person in their lives. Which, granted, that's still bad, but they're two different types of bad. He's just being a scumbag. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I still feel like he's a scumbag in this one. Especially since he begged her to stay. After she was like, bro, listen, if you want to be with her, go right ahead. I'm just going to bow out. So, yeah. It still stands. Still feel like he's a scumbag. And, I guess what pisses me off even more is that he comes across as this, I want to say Boy Scout, but like very like nice and a really good guy, and then underneath he just, you know, you're not making men look great. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Anyway, I feel like that's about it from more or less. I feel like that's pretty much about it. If I forgot anything, please write down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.